so well. A lot has happened within the past week. First of all, the Michael Jackson movie came out. A highly anticipated movie has finally come to cinema. And to be fair, I'm actually very happy, man. It was a very good movie. I went to the cinema to go and watch it. They went through pretty much everything. Like, they went through all the main stuff in it. It went by really quickly as well. Like, I can't say that a lot of movies I watch go by quickly just like that. This movie actually captured my attention a lot. I was able to be attentive with this movie. So it was well written, it was well made. Like, they put in a lot of effort into it. Like, you can tell the budget was a lot for it. The only thing I would say that I didn't like in this movie was they skipped out a lot of stuff. They went through the main stuff, don't get it twisted, but a lot of the minor details they skipped out. Like, they could have went into a bit more detail in the 70s, then also go into detail between like the thriller era and the bad era, because Michael still did a few things during that time, even though it was quiet. I would say that's my only like con when it came to the movie, but it was a good movie, to be fair, to the point where they're now considering doing a sequel to this movie as well, because to be fair, it would make sense. One, the movie did very well, and two, the story isn't finished. The first movie literally ended in 1988, and there's a lot more things that bro did after 1988 as well, all the way until his death. So now fit everything from 1958, the time he was born, to 2009 in one movie, it wouldn't work. And even if it was to work, that movie wouldn't be written well. Making two movies makes sense, man, makes sense. With the sequel coming out like next year or early 2028, I decided to myself, might as well do a little prediction as to what could potentially come in this movie. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. At the beginning of the movie, we obviously have Michael Jackson in the Bad tour, and he's performing all of the songs, he's hyping up the album and everything, just like most artists would do. But this time, this is like his solo tour. In the Thriller tour that he was meant to do, that ended up being scrapped, and he ended up doing a Victory tour, playing the Thriller songs with his brothers as well, so he didn't get the full independence that he wanted to. Now that he's able to with this Bad tour, the effect is definitely there still. He's just performing everywhere. It's a world tour. Obviously, he performs in the States, he performs in London, Japan, all of these different places. At this point, bro is definitely known globally, so he's doing his thing still. And funny enough, this is like the last album where like he works with Quincy Jones. After this, he now just cuts off all types of man. There's no beef, obviously, but I think it's just a case of where there were just creative differences. Like, Quincy Jones even said himself in like certain interviews that him and Michael just won't see eye to eye when it comes to the album. Michael Jackson wanted to make it a double album. Quincy Jones said, nah, keep it short and snappy. All of that touring, yeah, bro was definitely restless, man. He was not sleeping. But again, relying on the adrenaline, fam, he has to keep the fans happy. The fans are who he cares about. Bad is literally the last album where Quincy Jones actually works with Michael properly. This is the time where he also builds a Levelland Ranch. That's also interesting. The whole place is very glamorous, man. I don't think guys are deep in how well made that whole place is, considering the fact that a lot of it was recorded before high definition even came to play. So when you now put it into high definition, yeah, bro, you're not in reality, fam. You're in imaginary land. That place looks like Disneyland. It looks like a theme park, fam. Bro saw it as his way of escaping reality. To be fair, you can't actually escape reality in that place, bro. And it also shows how much P he had, because to build all of that, pricey as well. The fact that he bought the catalogue back in like 85 definitely made him rich. I can also see him like doing the whole meet up with Ted Riley. Teddy Riley is the guy that discovered the whole New Jack Swing sound. If you listen to the Bad album, you can see that it has some New Jack Swing inspiration from it, but he decided to go all out in the Dangerous album. So I can see him like being a thing of where they now document the whole time where he now meets Teddy Riley and they now discuss making Dangerous together. I can see that working still, and he's just like trying new different sounds, gaining more creative control, all of the good stuff, man, all of the good stuff. I mean, to be fair, this is around the time, I would say like Dangerous and Bad was around the time where like Michael's sound peaked creatively. Those are the two albums I can actually listen to like continuously. Don't get it twisted, I still like Thriller and Off the Wall, but I don't think that's where he peaked creatively. That's 1991 obviously. Then 1993, this is the time where he now decides to go on the Oprah Winfrey show and become vulnerable. He now starts to mention that he has a condition called vitiligo to everybody. I can definitely see them reenacting that in the movie. Before that interview, everybody was thinking that he was bleaching his skin. It was all a lie, man. There's speculation around his name. And funny enough, this is around the time where allegations start coming in and stuff. In the 90s, he still did well artistically, but this is where like his whole personal life started to become very shaky. Another thing that I noticed from like the late 80s, every time he would dress up, he would always have like some type of badge or something like that, and it was meant to represent that he would always wear it until there's now world peace, which is a nice thing to add on. Despite the allegations, again, he still had artistic control in the 90s as well. He still made banging tunes like Who Is It, Black or White, They Don't Care About Us, You Are Not Alone, all of these different tunes in the 90s. he still made bangers. Even when he was touring, he still had a massive impact on everybody. There was one scene, he'll just jump out onto the stage, stand there for like 5-10 minutes, and people would just be passing out just from the sight of him. Yeah, crazy one still. That's definitely something that I can imagine them reenacting. Everybody talks about that scene, bro, on like TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, the whole lot. So I can definitely see him adding that into the sequel. If they don't add that into the sequel, I'm going to be disappointed. Another thing that I would say will probably happen in the movie is like getting into his relationships, because the 90s was when he actually started like dating people seriously. So he even got into marriage as well with got into serious relationships, and ended up getting married to both of them. He got married to Lisa Marie Presley and Debbie Rowe. But the thing is, both relationships didn't even last long. The Lisa one only lasted 2 years, then Debbie Rowe's one only lasted 4 years. But I have a feeling that they'll still go into those relationships at least a little bit. But like the mid to late 90s, he makes another album called His Story, Past, Present and Future. And then he also makes another album called Blood on the Dance Floor. Both albums are very good, but they take a more political stance. Like he actually starts calling people out in these albums. But either way, the music still sounds good. And the thing is, I feel like the creative process is something that they will definitely go into. There's another short movie called Ghost. I've listened to the song before. The song was really good, but we'll probably go into the details about that too. That whole song is meant to like represent what he's going through at the moment and how he feels. It's essentially supposed to be a metaphor, like one extended metaphor. At the early 2000s, he dropped another album called Invincible. This is a personal opinion, but I don't think the album, it doesn't do as well as the other albums previous, and it doesn't sound as good either. This is when things weren't really going too well for him, so it would most likely reflect in the music. He still dropped a banger called You Rock My World. That's a good song that came out from the 2000s. And he also made a short film with Chris Tucker on that song as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if they now go through it in the movie, like the whole process and as to how they actually made that song. Everybody makes memes off of it, man. I'll be very surprised if they don't add that into the movie. Everyone loves that song, including myself as well. It has that soul into it, man. Another thing that I thought of as well, there was one time where some British documenter followed him for like 8 months or something. Yeah, I think they will probably want to add that or reference it at least. Or the moment where he now tries to put his baby up on the balcony. That was funny. Could see that happening as well. I don't know if they're gonna go through much of the 2000s in the movie. I don't think they're gonna go through that much because he wasn't as active in the 2000s as he was earlier on in his life. I do feel like what they will probably do is they'll probably just like show him in a more depressed state, in a more isolated state, and he will just be more secluded compared to how he was previously. I could also see like Neverland Ranch becoming desolate, just like how Detroit became desolate in like the 70s and 80s. It's like the rise and fall. There'll probably most likely be a scene where someone's now telling him you should do it, this is it, or this will now rake in a lot of money, and then like there'll be like all of this optimism. They'll go from dark to positive, so I can see that happening. I can also see them reenacting the moment where he announces that this is it tour in the O2. But fam, I'm still baffled. Man said South East London, the O2. I was literally there like last week. I said this in the previous video, innit? But imagine if I was born like 10 years before. I would probably be able to see my man in the O2 just casually, bro. That is crazy. I should have been born in 1993. But when it came to that, it was a thing of where he made an announcement, everybody was hyped up, everybody was like, yo, Michael Jackson might actually make a comeback, he might be able to make a lot of money from this tour. Everybody is excited, everybody's looking from their windows, from their TV screens, everything like that. I could see this being a montage. Then he's rehearsing, he's obviously frail, but just the fact that he's able to now regain his power is what will be motivating him. The montage now ends. It now fast forwards to like June 25th, 2009 on the screen like this, and then the doctors trying to give him this sleeping stuff, and then he overdoses him and he ends up passing away from there. And one by one all of his siblings find out and they're all devastated. Obviously there's another montage, but this is a sad one where like everybody now sees it and they're all devastated, everybody's reacting to it the same kind of way. All around the world everyone's devastated, so they'll probably now reenact the memorial service as well. I can see that happening. That's also an iconic moment. It's very emotional, so I can definitely see them reenacting that. But what would be funny towards the end is if it now cuts to now somebody telling to 2026 modern day, and it now cuts to somebody just talking about the life of Michael Jackson casually as a conversation at a get together. I think that's about it. I think that's what the sequel to Michael would be like. It would definitely be good, that's for sure. There are still like significant moments after 1988 in his life. Positive moments too. It's not just all negative. But it definitely does take a darker turn. So I feel like the movie would be a lot more serious compared to like the first one. And I don't think it would be as colourful either. But either way, it would still be a good watch. But yeah, man, I enjoyed making this video. I think after this one, I'm gonna also like review all of his albums too, one by one. Because to be fair, bro's dropped quite a few few albums. Might as well make a video on that too. But yeah, this was a good video to make nevertheless. I enjoyed talking about the predictions, and yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up here. It's J Money 13th and I'm signing out. In a bit, you man.